Hello, 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 Bodacious Beauties. What is going on? It's your girl, Linda S. Hustle, the Bodacious Life Coach, coming to you live and direct on this thankful Thursday, on this thoughtful Thursday, on this, oh my goodness, thank goodness I woke up Thursday on this, oh my gosh, what else starts with a T? Talk About It Thursday. How about that on this Talk About It Thursday? This is also day 5 of Midlife Motivation May, a series I put together because while we're in this COVID-19, this coronavirus, this pandemic, whatever we want to call it, I decided I wanted to use this downtime, this garbage time, to do some inner work. Yes, I pray. Yes, I meditate. I read inspirational books, self-development, all that. But at the same time, I also wanted to do a deeper dive, go inside a little bit more and unearth some stuff that's just been kind of right there on the surface, not enough to really get on my nerves, but just remind me that, hey, Linda, there's still a little bit more work we need to do. So with May coming around, and I also think that I'm here in California, and May 15th is when they're supposed to be opening up things a little bit. I still have not been working since March 15th, and I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. In the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, because I also have a salon, I do hair, but my passion really is working with Black women over 50. So I've been using this time to get healthier. I haven't had sugar since March 15th. I have lost 8 pounds. I am really using this time to just get physically, mentally, and spiritually fit. If you are catching a replay, what's going on, Queen? How are you doing? Today's affirmation is, I am in charge of my life. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of phenomenal affirmations out there. Let me see something real quick because Facebook, I'm doing this on my phone, but I am also on my laptop because lately Facebook, when I go live, is not allowing me to see the comments. So I had to figure it out. I said, well, okay, we're going to just do this 2 kinds of ways. And the 2 ways we're going to do it is I'm going to be live on my phone, using my phone as a broadcast, but then I'm going to get on my laptop to see the comments, and that's how we're going to do it. Because, listen, we are a powerful people. We are a strong people. We're not going to let the fact that Facebook sometimes be tripping keep us from doing what we need to do, right? So I still don't see it on the laptop, so I don't know what that means. Let me... sometimes you got to reboot it. You know, these computers are just something else. So, anywho, today, like I said, today's affirmation is, I am in charge of my life. I'm in charge of my life. Point blank, period. No matter what has happened to me, no matter what I've gone through, no matter what I will go through, I'm in charge of my life. And the cool thing about being in charge of my life is I get to take 100% responsibility of my life. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The choices that I make. Hey Xenia, the choices that I make. And listen, out of all the affirmations in the world, if I only had one affirmation that I could take with me, I mean, if I lost everything in the world, my job, my car, my home, my business, and I could only take one affirmation, it would be the one that I'm talking about today, which is, I am in charge of my life. Because when you take 100% responsibility for your life, then a flood could come, a tsunami could come, an earthquake could come, you could lose your job, you could lose your man, you could lose your loved ones, anything. And you would still be able to get on with your life, create the life that you desire and deserve, because you have it in your mind that you are in charge of your life. Meaning that we're not going to just kick those things that have happened to the curb, but I think disasters could lead to your destiny. I think defeat can lead to your destiny. I think despair and doom can lead to your destiny. Listen, there's a lot of people that you've heard of who said, oh my gosh, and then I lost my job and I just didn't know what I was going to do. But deep down inside, they hated their job, right? They hated their job and they've been saying to themselves over and over and over again, one day I'm going to fill in the blank, find a new job. Hey, Renee, find a new job, go back to school, whatever the case may be. And it wasn't until they lost that job that they finally said, okay, I think now might be the time to really think about what I want to do, make a plan, figure out how I'm going to do what I do, and do it. And that's why I said, if I lost everything and all I had was one affirmation to take with me, it would be the one that I'm talking about today. I am in charge of my life. Because when you are in charge of your life, then you understand that you can smack the start over button as many times as you need to smack it. And guess what? You get to start over. See, for some reason, we think a lot of times that when we are faced with challenges, that we don't get to start over, that we don't get to move through, that we don't get to go through. You know what I mean? But you have to tell yourself, I am in charge of my life. I wake up every single day and I say that with my prayer, with my meditation. I have this whole morning routine that I go through. But one of the things that I say is I am in charge of my life. So no matter what life throws at me, and here's the thing, you guys, sometimes we've got to learn how to shape shift. Sometimes you're going to be a pitcher out there. Sometimes you're going to be up at bat. But when life throws you a curveball, that's when you have to become a world-class baseball player, put your mitt on, catch the ball, right? And throw it back in. We got to learn how to shape shift. See, life isn't always going to deal with us the way we are. Sometimes life is going to throw us some stuff and we got to shape shift. We got to turn into chameleons. We've got to figure this thing out. And we don't always have years and months to do this stuff. I don't know why I don't be turning this thing off. Well, it already did it now. Right? So we got to learn how to shape shift. We've got to understand that heartache. A lot of times we don't like heartache, but heartache can lead you to your soulmate. Some of us, if it wasn't for heartache, if it wasn't for the person kicking us to the curb, if it wasn't for that person saying, you know what, I don't want you no more, then you would still be with them. Miserable. Now, nobody wants to go through the heartache because heartache sucks. Heartache really does suck. I mean, I have been heartbroken. But you can't get through or get over to the other side as long as you holding on to this trash, as long as you holding on to this despair. And that's what a lot of us do. We will hold on to the misery and the pain and not even give ourselves the opportunity to get to the other side. I think it's crazy, but I've been through it. So when I say I think it's crazy, I think it's crazy for me too. But we've all been through, but you got to go through the heartache to get to your soulmate. Can I get an amen if anybody out there has had to go through the heartache, but then they ended up with their soulmate? I know I'm not the only one. I just want to say amen. Girl, I hear you. Let me know that I am just not talking to myself. Thank you for the heart. Thank you for the thumbs up. You know, for some of us, we've gotten fired, and that firing led us to our phenomenal future. That firing, them saying you got to go, led us to our phenomenal future. Because let's be clear, you guys. Let's just cut all the way to the chase. Most people do not have the guts to do what they need to do. It's going to take almost an act of God. It's going to take a tremendous challenge. It's going to take some chaos, some confusion, some crisis in their life to really get them to move. Let's just be clear. No judgment, no condemnation. But when you are in charge of your life, like today's affirmation, then it don't matter. You can't have excuses. You either making moves or you making excuses. That's it. I don't believe in the gray area of life. And for those who are in the gray area of life, I call that the comfort zone, but I also call it the dead zone, and I also call it the danger zone. Because when you are comfortable, you are not growing. You're not growing when you're comfortable. You are comfortable. So you got to ask yourself, Am I really trying to grow? Or am I just trying to skate life out? Am I just trying to ride life out? And that's okay. But just be clear. Like, don't lie to yourself. Don't frustrate yourself unnecessarily. If you are a skater, skate on. Not everybody is an eagle. We do have pigeons out here. We do have crows out here. We do have chickens out here. You just have to decide which one are you. But when you are in charge of your life, you naturally soar. You naturally rise. You naturally are an eagle. It's just no question about it, because you have made a decision that no matter what happens, you're going to soar. Failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. Readjusting is an option. Rethinking, replanning. Hey, Benita, rethinking, replanning is an option. But failure, not at all. Not at all. So that, like I said, I am in charge of my life. If that's all I had in my toolkit, and I was flat, busted, broke, disgusted, all of that, that affirmation right there, I am in charge of my life, you cannot fail when you are in charge of your life. You can't. It's impossible, because you have taken 100% responsibility for your life, meaning come what may, you're going to make it happen. That means if you in the wilderness, you're going to find you some squirrels, you're going to find you some stuff running around, and it's going to come to you, because you're in charge of your life, and you're going to figure out how to cook it. You're going to figure out how to do all of that. And sometimes it's not until we are pushed up against the wall that we really realize what we made of. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a woman. They used to have this show on back in the day, and it was about people who had overcome tremendous odds to like get to the other side. And there was this woman, she was like maybe 5 feet tall, 110 pounds, and her car had overturned. She was in an accident. I don't know. Let me know if y'all remember this. Hey, Pamela. And she had a baby in the car, y'all. She heard her baby crying, but she couldn't figure out how to get the car upright. But she kept hearing her baby crying. Now, this is somebody who was 100% in charge of her life. Now, she could have just sat there crying and all of that kind of stuff, and something happened to her baby. But through superhuman strength, the conviction that she was in charge of her life, and it was her duty to get her child out of that car. Do you know somehow that woman, hey Joyce, somehow that woman was able to get that door open, push that car up just enough where she could get that door open and get her baby out. Now, of course, we know that God had a hand in that. That's not what I'm saying. God has a hand in everything, whether overtly or inadvertently or whatever. But the bottom line is she made a decision, because she was in charge of her life and got her baby out. And that's how powerful being in charge of your life is. It can give you superhuman strength, superhuman commitment, superhuman conviction, superhuman perseverance, all of that when you are in charge of your life. See, even now, like I said, I haven't worked since March 14th, right? But because I'm in charge of my life, I still come up to this group. You remember that? Yes, Renee. And she was all on TV, teeny weeny thing. And she just said she kept hearing her baby crying. And she was going to die. Are you willing to die for what you need to do? See, there's some people out here who they're so convicted, right? Thank you for the hearts. In what they want to do, that the legacy they want to leave for their children, for their children's children, that they are willing to die trying. Like, giving up is just not an option. It's almost like, hey Nadine, it's almost like giving up is death. And like I said yesterday, most people die at 25 and get buried at 75, 80 and up. That's just what it is. Most people die at 25 and get buried. That's what Les Brown said. And I tend to believe that. Oh, thank you, Pam. See, this is what I'm saying. Today's affirmation is I am in charge of my life. So guess what? I was feeling saucy and spicy and sexy and all that good stuff. So I did all this. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm here talking to y'all. But because I'm in charge of my life, this is what I decided I wanted to do today. I'm hot. I'm sweating, but I still said I wanted to represent the way I represent. This is how I take charge of me. I feel good because I want to feel good. And this makes me feel good. So thank you, Pamela, for noticing. I really appreciate that. And so that is the affirmation of the day. I am in charge of my life, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of who's hurt you, regardless of the circumstances you find yourself in, regardless of this COVID-19, of this Rona, of this pandemic, of this garbage time that we're in. Do you know there are people that are making millions of dollars right now during this downtime because they're in charge of their life? And they said, I can either sing or I can swim. And they out there swimming. There are people who are making millions of dollars making masks, making PPE equipment, delivering, like turning their truck. There's some people who have a truck and they decided that they were going to contact Amazon and contract out with them so that they could drive these trucks, making buku bucks because they are in charge of their life. And so, in conclusion, I just want to say, stay in charge of your life. Stay in charge of your thoughts. Stay in charge of your actions. If you make a commitment, don't make a 98% commitment. Make a 100% commitment. Because a 98% commitment ain't enough. It ain't enough. I committed to Midlife Motivation May. Every single day of May, I'm coming on. Now, this is the last week of affirmations, but I'm going to have some new and improved stuff for you next Monday after tomorrow, because that's what I want to do. That's my commitment to you. But as I do that for you, I do it for me too, because I'm listening to myself talk. This stuff is sinking into my head as well. So just keep that with you. And again, I am in charge of my life is such a powerful affirmation that I would take that with me, busted, broken down, disgusted with nothing else. And I would just take that with me. And that affirmation alone could propel me through whatever I was going through. Because the moment we give our power to someone else or something else or some circumstance, we lose. Period. The moment, and I don't care, I know you might be thinking, well, Linda, I done really been through some stuff. Girl, you and everybody else, you do not get a cookie because you've been through anything. I hate to put it to you that way, but you don't get a cookie because you've been through something. You just don't. Hey, Lynetta, that's just the way life is. There's nobody in the world who hasn't been through something. It's time for you to stop hiding behind the fact that you've been through something like everybody else in the universe, for the reason why you haven't stepped fully into your power, for the reason why you haven't gone for your dreams, for the reason why you sat down on yourself, for the reason why you blame everybody else for what's happened, for the reason why you can't forgive, for the reason why you can't love because somebody broke your heart. Well, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Heartbreak Hotel. There was a song about it. That's how many people has actually been heartbroken. That somebody's, like there's several songs about heartbreak and heartache. But that's just part of life. That's just part of life. But please don't let the fact that somebody broke your heart have you out here not being open to love again. Because now you've given your power to that person. That means you are not in charge of your life. If you can't take responsibility, 100% responsibility for your life. Not 50%, not 75, not 90, not 98, 100% responsibility for your life. Because when you do that, then you can become like cream and rise. When you take 100% responsibility for your life, when you are in charge of your life, you you are in charge of your life. That's when your life takes off. So I don't know who this message was for today, but I just wanted to share that. I wanted to set off the first week of Midlife Motivation May with some affirmations, some things that you can just take with you, put in your tool chest. And again, if this was the only affirmation that I could take, if a genie came out and said you have one affirmation that can change your life, which one do you want? And they rattled off all these different affirmations. I am in charge of my life would be the one that I would take each and every time. Because some of us out here are not in charge of our lives. And our lives are a reflection of that. So you know when you're in charge of your life because your life reflects it. See, homeless people are not in charge of their life. People who make excuses and always got a reason why they didn't or they couldn't or they can't, they are not in charge of their lives. You don't have to look far and wide to see who is in charge of their life. And being in charge of your life is not for the faint-hearted. Being in charge of your life is not for the punks of the world. Because being in charge of your life means you got to wade through some doo-doo sometimes. Just like the dude in the Shawshank Redemption. He was in charge of his life. He was building that tunnel. I don't know how long he was in jail, but he chipped away at that wall until he built him a tunnel. Did y'all see Shawshank Redemption? And then after he did all that, after all those years of chiseling away at that tunnel, he had to swim through doo-doo. There was a sewer. Do y'all remember that? Thank you for the love. There was a sewer. Can you imagine years of chiseling away at that tunnel? And finally your chance comes and you realize that you got to swim through doo-doo? Unfortunately, there are some people who would have turned back. Unfortunately, there are some people who would have turned back. Just like if you saw the movie, there was a couple other people who got out, Morgan Freeman and the other guy. The other guy was so accustomed to not being in charge of his life that he killed himself. Y'all, this is real deep. Being in charge of your life takes guts. It takes commitment. It takes perseverance. It takes determination. It's not always easy being in charge of your life. But that's the only way you're going to really figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing here. That's the only way that you're going to be able to live the life that you desire and deserve. All those dreams, wishes, hopes, and desires that you have, they will only come to fruition when you are in charge. You are in charge of your life, not the man. You. That means you got to tap into your gifts and talents. It means you got to do some inner work. It means you got to write down what it is that you really want to do. Not what you're doing currently. What is it that you really want to do? That is how you're in charge of your life. So, dude swam through that doo-doo and he got free. Because once he made that commitment, once he was determined, but a person who could chisel away at a tunnel for 20 years already is in charge of their life. But to put some icing on the cake, he swam through that doo-doo to get free. Now, I would like to believe that I would do that too. I would love to believe that I would do that too. But that's being in charge of your life. And the Shawshank Redemption is one of my most favorite movies in the whole wide world. Yes, Renee, that part, that was deep. He had to swim through the doo-doo, girl. But he did. And that is what being in charge of your life looks like. You know what I mean? That's what it really, really looks like. It looks like I said yesterday, it looks like Martin Luther King doing what he did. You know what I mean? Even with death threats. He was so convicted that he would rather die than be safe. And I'm not saying that's all of our calling. But do you have that type of conviction for yourself? Not necessarily for a cause, but do you have that type of conviction for you? Not anybody else, just for you. So, that is today's affirmation. I am in charge of my life. And I want you to ponder on that as I conclude. And ask yourself the question, are you in charge of your life? Are you in charge of your life? And if you're not in charge of your life, ask yourself, what would it look like to be in charge of your life? And what are some of the things you need to do to become in charge of your life? Because again, I believe in smack the start over button. As many times as you need to. Lord knows I've started over. Ooh, wee. Thank you for the love. I started over so many times. But I just thank God that we're able to do that. But you gotta smack it. You know? I thank God that we're able to do that. But you gotta pick up your hand though. It still requires action from you. You got to pick up your hand and actually hit the button. And some of us, the button will be just staring us right in the face. And all we got to do is smack it. And we don't do it. And then we wonder why, yes, Pamela, our lives are the way they are. When it's literally you just making a decision. Because life is all about decisions and choices. That's it. When you think about your life, you think about what you've been through, what you've done. It was all about decisions and choices. Point blank period. That's it. We make life way too complicated. I just think it's part of being human to make life complicated. But that's all it is. Decisions and choices. Period. That's life. And having the guts and the balls to take responsibility for your decision and choices and not put it on other folks. When you can do that, you have truly, you've truly gotten over to the other side. So that is my message for you today, Bodacious Beauties. This has been good. I love doing these. I love doing this. I just wanted to do something. This is what I do. This is who I'll be. So I just wanted to do this. I'm usually on at 12 o'clock. It'll be 12 o'clock. And sometimes, the internet be acting a fool. But usually 12 o'clock. So same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's affirmation is. But tomorrow, I think, is the end of the affirmation week. And then I'll give y'all some different stuff next week because I take off Saturday and Sunday so that you can, and you guys check out the unit section if you haven't. Okay, thank you, Pam, for hanging in there. Appreciate you, love. Check out the unit section of the group, and then you'll see, the old posts, day 1, day 2, and all that kind of stuff. All right. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Peace, love, hair grease. Be bold, be bodacious, be brand new. Peace.